My most favorite parenting tool for big kids and teens is called the 3 yeses. Now, let's say your big kid or teen is mad, upset, frustrated, pissed off at you, all the things, and maybe you have an idea of what you should say, what the consequence should be, what they should do differently, how to fix it. Like maybe you even want to lecture them. Hold up. We're going to do the 3 yeses instead. This is not a tool that is going to fix everything, but it is a tool that is going to create connection, and we're going to use the connection to help your big kid or teen regulate and then resolve the issue on their own. Here's how it goes. You're going to give them 3 yes questions or statements, like things to which they can say yes. It has to be from their perspective. So get out of your perspective and focus on like, what is it that is happening for them? Here is an example. 14-year-old has gone to the mountains with her family. Historically, she has always brought a friend. The grandparents pay for this trip. Now it's COVID. She can't bring a friend and she's pissed the fuck off. And she doesn't want to participate, okay? And she's hiding in her room, and the parents are all frustrated and embarrassed because the grandparents paid for this, and all the other little cousins are playing these board games, and everybody wants the teenager to come down to play the board games, and the teenager wants nothing to do with it. And the mom wants to rip the Wi-Fi cord out of the cabin so that the girl will come down and play, right? She's like, that's the consequence. She won't do it. I'm going to remove the internet. Okay, hold on. Let's use the 3 yeses. Remember, we're not going to resolve with the 3 yeses, but we're going to build connections so that you can move this kid closer to cooperation. So she's sitting on the bed. Mom goes into the room. She sits on the floor. That's important. Position is important, especially with your big kid or teen. I'm not going to look them straight eye to eye. I'm going to sit lower on the floor. And I might say 3 statements like this. Wow, you really wanted to bring a friend. You do not want to go downstairs and play those babyish games. You're counting the days till we go home. That's it. 3. Then you get to be quiet. Okay? If your big kid or teen does not respond, but you can kind of feel in the air that there's a shift, great. If they're like, no, that's not it, then you know that you got it wrong, and you got to own that. So then you need to say, oh, yeah, guess I got it wrong. And you can try again. Okay, so mom did that. She builds the connection just a little bit. And over time, they're in the room together. Girl talks a little bit. There might be silences, and you're going to have to sit in the silence. And then they came to an agreement, right? Because she built the connection, the girl felt like she was understood. And mom says, okay, look, what can we do here? What do you think is reasonable? So she's putting the power back in the girl's hands. And because she built the connection, you got to do that part. The girl says, I can go play 1 board game. Okay, great. I'm taking it. So then she goes downstairs, and this is the part where the parents have to hold that she belongs in the family, even if she's mad. Okay. So you're allowed to be in this family and to play the board games and to be present and do all the stuff. Even if you're pissed off, that's part of being in a family. And so she comes down, she plays the board game, and then she goes back up, and you get to let it go because it doesn't really actually matter. Okay. So that is what we're doing with the 3 yeses, and you can do it again and again and again. Here's another example. Kid fails a math test, and parent wants to give a consequence or up the tutoring or something. This is a real example from somebody I worked with. So kid is 16. Mom and son are in the car, and she finds out about the math test. And also another added layer, she's a teacher at the school. So not only did the kid fail the math test, but she's horribly embarrassed that her kid, 2 teacher parents, is failing out of school. And she says to him, you were thinking that you could not study, and what you were, the time you spent in class was enough. Yeah, you thought you would be able to pass that test because historically you've done okay in math. You're kind of embarrassed about this whole thing and the grade. Okay, he didn't respond big in the moment, but he did have some tears. And later that night, oh my gosh, you guys, later that night, he comes out to his mom and he says, I didn't know you loved me. You got to build the connection. I'm going to cry. You got to I just pressed the stop button on accident. You've got to build the connection, right? So that your kid, a 16-year-old boy said that, like, so that your kid can say that kind of thing and feel felt, even if they fail the math test, or even if they're like pissed off that they don't get to bring a friend to the mountains and you're embarrassed and all of the things. Like, quiet it down. It's okay to be a teenager. They are developmentally supposed to be pushing away from you. There is a great metaphor about a swimming pool, and it's like the parent is the edge of the pool and development happens in the water, and your teenager is doing the work of development by swimming in the water. And I want to give the author credit whose metaphor this is. I'll look up for it in just a second. And you push off the wall, the teenager pushes off the wall, and that's really freaking painful for the parents, right? And that is what a lot of our big kids and teens are doing. And that is why you need the 3 yeses. So sometimes they're going to come back to the wall to take a rest and be with you for a second. And you see those moments facilitated by the 3 yeses. But the bottom line is that they're teenagers. And so they're going to push off and it's going to be painful. And like, they're supposed to be co-regulating and developing with their peers. So let me get that reference for you. I'll be right back. Lisa D'Amour. She's got great stuff on teens, especially teen girls. And that swimming pool metaphor is hers. Isn't it amazing? Talk to you all soon. If you need more help with your big kids or teens, make sure you go to the link in my bio, book a consult with me, and we can figure out together what's going on and what you can do to shift the tenor so that you can get through this time with your big kid or teen. All the love.